Hello and welcome to Console Cowboys. So the other day we took a look at rewiring alarm systems to bypass those, as well as bypassing RFID combination boxes using these physical security village simulators. Today we're going to take a look at the Mircom and linear telephony access control system boxes and how to bypass those. Now I typically see these types of boxes on the outside of buildings that open up doors to apartment buildings or offices, as well as the outside gates on a facility to gain access to the interior of the campus. And in Vegas, if you drive around, you'll actually see the Door King ones on quite a few gated communities throughout. So they are pretty much everywhere, and we're going to go through how to bypass those. Hopefully you're enjoying all this content. If you are, like the video and share it out with your friends. It definitely helps the channel. And let's hop right into it. So let's take a look at the linear first. So if we open this up, we have a couple of things on the side. We have some keys, we have a jumper wire, and we have a little finger to poke things. We also have a keypad down here, and we can see that it is a linear box. Now, first thing to note on these is with this keypad, I can't really press anything. It's not letting me. It just says nothing happens. But in real life, there actually is a code that you can type in, which gives you kind of a way to add a new access code in and then bypass the door. So if that's enabled, definitely try that and look up how to do that on the internet. And then we also have keys. So we see here we have a linear 222343, and this is the linear box, so it'll open it up. Now people have asked me about keys before, and that's one of the ones that you should have on your key ring, which will open up these boxes, as well as I have a Door King one on here. So if you click that and you open up the box, now you have access to the circuit board. Now if we jump some of these wires in here, we can open up the door. And that's why also you should carry around some wires that you can jump different terminals with. So having those on your keychain, you're able to open up these and then short some wires. Now in order to know what to short, we have to think about how things work. So typically we have like a relay switch with a normally open and a COM port, and that'll be hooked up to a door. And those are normally open, so when you short them together, it will close that circuit and open up the door. I think that's technically right the way I just said it. If not, it's somewhere along those lines. So we could take a look at the manual for this and get an idea what things that we need to short in order to open this up. So we can see outside, we might have an optional camera, we have our display, we have a optional postal lock, which I didn't see on the outside, our keypad. And we want to take a look inside and get an idea, right? So right here we have our relay terminals, which is probably going to be our target. We take a look at all the other things, postal lock, micro switch. Maybe if the postal lock is enabled, we can utilize that. And I want to scroll down. And if we look at this, here are all the terminals down the side where things get hooked up. And reading through here really quickly, you can see, okay, look, we have an electronic door strike. And that is hooked into our relay terminals, NO and COM. So if those are hooked up, we should be able to open up this door. We also have a gate operator, maybe that'll work, or a door exit request button, things we can play with, but we also don't want to do something that breaks this as well. Likely our target is going to be this electronic door strike on the relay terminals. So if we hop back in here, and in real life you would grab your little jumper cables like this on your key ring, and you would grab on here, you can click that, grab a jumper wire, and we want to go to our relay terminals. Here's our pad terminal, and here is our relay terminals. And we see the first two are NO and COM, so if we slide over, you'll see there's two wires already hooked up into those. Those are probably for the door switch. So if we click, and then we click here, you see it says door unlocks, and then we heard a buzzing sound. So now we opened up the door. All you have to do then is just close this panel, lock it up, and go through the entranceway. So that's really all there is to it. It takes a little bit of just understanding how things function and what to look at. So now I want you to pause the video. I want you to go back to these bypass games. I want to open up the Mircom one, and I want you to repeat the same process, and then I'm going to go through how to do it multiple ways on here. So pause the video, come back, and then I'll walk through it, but try to do it on your own first. The manual is right here. Okay. So hopefully you guys found a way to open up the door, or maybe multiple ways to open up the door. We'll see. So first off, we have, looks like a postal key here. We also have a keypad. and we have a lock up here. Now there is indication this is Mircom down here, so we know that's a Mircom system. So likely this key is going to work. We also have a postal key. We have a postal thing there. So if we click that, try to open it up, we get some message about a police officer tapping us on the shoulder and blah, 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 telling us it's illegal to have the key. So if this wasn't a penetration test, you probably should not have done that or ran as soon as you saw the cop. But since it is a pen test and it is illegal, you probably shouldn't be doing that. So next up, we have our Mircom key. And that's just a key-like system. It's another one of these keys you can add to your key ring. So you can open that up. Now, once you open that up, this keyboard looks quite different. Looks like we have some terminals down here we can hook things up to, as well as up here. If we take a look at the system really quick and kind of zoom in, up top, we have some of these terminals here. And if we look at the names under them, it looks like it says DC door, AC. So these are probably power up here. And down here is probably what we're looking at as far as things hooking up. Looks like it's hooking up to this top panel, probably like the keypad goes over to here and maybe influences how the door opens if you type in the right combination, something of that nature. But in order to know, we need to look at the manual again. So we're gonna look some possible ways in. So here's the layout right here, door supply, door relay, general purpose relays. And then we have inputs 1 to 5. So if we scroll down here, here's all our inputs at the bottom. So input 1 through 5, I believe. And we take a look and it says input 1 is a postal lock. So that might open something. We have a fire panel. Receives fire notification, activation of the input, unlocks the main auxiliary doors. So that might work. Input 2. Input 3, main door sense, connects to the door sense switch, unlocking the main door, activates the main door timer. Activation of the main door sense locks the main door, resets the main door open timer. Typically used to prevent tailgating. Okay, so input 2, 3, and 1 all may have something to do with opening doors. So that's our first indication of what we should take a look at. So if we hop back in here, hopefully you guys figured out one way to break into here. If we look at this, we see input 3 and we see input 2 should be these first ones right here. So we can grab a jumper wire and let's just try, what's the first one here? It looks like input 2. Input 2 was our fire panel. Let's take a look at that. So if we go, I'm gonna go wire right here and wire right here. It says door unlocks, perfect. And then we also had input 3, which was on our list. So that is main door sense. So we try that as well. Okay, so I believe that would be here and here. And that also unlocks the door. So there's 2 ways to unlock the door and how these systems work. So if you take a look inside these panels, you can kind of get an idea of what's what, just kind of looking at it. And you know, these terminals are hooked up to some wires, so those are probably hooked up to some sensors somewhere. The sensors do something. So you can mess around with those and you can grab the manual. Now, as far as homework goes, I want you to now go out and look up Door King telephony access control boxes, look at the manual of that, and get an idea how you would open that as additional homework to help you understand how all of these door systems work. They're all very, very similar, so you shouldn't have a problem doing that. So that is all for this video. Hopefully you learned something. Share out the video to your social media and give me a shout, and thanks for watching.